Imagine that one day humanity discovers the final formula, a perfect system capable of explaining everything: galaxies, life, consciousness, and even the thoughts inside our minds. No more mysteries, no unanswered questions. This was once the greatest dream of science. But in the 20th century, a young mathematician uncovered a shocking truth. There are doors of knowledge that logic itself may never be able to open. At the beginning of the 20th century, science was filled with confidence. Mathematicians believed the universe operated like a gigantic machine, and humanity's mission was simply to discover its hidden rules. If mathematics could be built on a perfect foundation, every true or false question would eventually be solved. Reason seemed close to its ultimate victory, but at the peak of this confidence, a tiny crack began to appear. The person who discovered this crack was Kurt Gödel, a quiet genius from Austria. He was not trying to destroy mathematics. In fact, he loved its precision so much that he wanted to examine the deepest foundations of reason itself. But the deeper Gödel looked, the closer he came to a strange conclusion. Perhaps not every truth can be captured inside the formulas humans create. To understand Gödel's discovery, imagine all of mathematics as a gigantic maze. The walls are rules, the paths are logical reasoning. Humanity believed that if we walked long enough, we would eventually explore the entire maze. But Gödel proved that in sufficiently complex systems, there are always real rooms, with no path inside the system that can lead us there. This became Gödel's Incompleteness theorem, one of the ideas that shook the foundations of modern science. It revealed that any sufficiently powerful mathematical system will contain statements that are true but cannot be proven using the rules of that system itself. In other words, even the perfect world of logic has horizons it cannot cross. What made this discovery shocking was that it was not only about mathematics, it touched a deeper question. Does human intelligence itself have limits? For centuries, we believed every mystery was simply waiting to be solved. But Gödel introduced a remarkable possibility. Some boundaries may not come from our ignorance. They may exist within the very structure of knowledge. Almost a century later, Gödel's question has become more important than ever in the age of artificial intelligence. If the human brain is only an information processing machine, could a powerful enough computer understand all of reality? Or, like mathematics itself, must every intelligence, human or machine, face boundaries it cannot overcome from within? After shaking the world of mathematics, Gödel entered one of the most fascinating intellectual friendships in history. At the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, he often walked with Albert Einstein. One explored the limits of space and time. The other explored the limits of logic and reason. Together, these two great minds asked a deeper question. Is the reality we see truly the whole truth? Einstein showed that time was not absolute as humanity once believed. Gödel did something similar with mathematics. He revealed that absolute certainty might be an illusion. These discoveries did not weaken science. Instead, they made science more mature by recognizing that the search for truth may never have a final ending point. But the story did not end there. Gödel's ideas helped open the path for another genius, Alan Turing, the father of modern computer science. Turing asked a seemingly simple question: can machines think? But behind that question was a much greater mystery. Can human thought be completely reproduced through algorithms? Modern computers can perform billions of calculations every second. Artificial intelligence can write, create images, analyze data, and solve problems once considered uniquely human. But Gödel's question remains: is information processing the same as true understanding, or is there an invisible gap between computation and consciousness that we still cannot see? Some scientists believe that when technology becomes advanced enough, machines will eventually achieve human-like intelligence. Others argue that consciousness may be more than a sequence of calculations. Perhaps inside our minds exists something similar to Gödel's theorem, a system capable of recognizing limits that it cannot fully explain from within itself. This leads us to one of the greatest mysteries of modern science. Where does consciousness come from? How can lifeless atoms combine and create feelings, thoughts, memories, and the ability to question our own existence? Somehow, the universe created beings capable of thinking about the universe itself. Perhaps the greatest lesson Gödel left behind is not that humanity failed in its search for truth. Instead, because there are always things beyond our current limits, discovery never truly ends. Every answer science finds does not close the door of knowledge. It opens even greater doors beyond it. For centuries, humanity believed that the unknown was simply an empty space waiting to be filled. What we do not understand today, science will eventually explain tomorrow. But Gödel forced us to confront a completely different possibility. What if some mysteries are not just waiting to be solved, but exist as a fundamental part of reality itself? This does not mean science has failed. In fact, recognizing its own limits may be one of science's greatest achievements. A map, no matter how detailed, is never the territory itself. A model, no matter how accurate, is never completely identical to the reality it tries to describe. From particles smaller than atoms to the most distant galaxies, every expansion of human knowledge reveals deeper questions. Newton explained motion. Einstein transformed our understanding of space and time. Quantum mechanics uncovered a strange world beneath matter. And Gödel reminded us that even science's most powerful tool, logic itself, contains mysteries of its own. Perhaps human intelligence is like a small candle in an endless night. Its light cannot illuminate the entire universe at once, but every step of science expands that light a little further. The important question may not be whether we will ever know everything, but whether we continue searching. And this is the beautiful paradox Gödel left behind. By proving that knowledge has limits, he expanded humanity's imagination. He did not close the door of science. He showed us that behind every door there is always another horizon waiting to be discovered. Thousands of years ago, humans looked at the stars and wondered how the universe worked. Today, we have explored atoms, decoded life, and created machines that can learn. But the deepest question remains: can a small piece of the universe, the human mind, ever fully understand the universe that created it? Perhaps the final answer is not what matters most. The search itself is what makes us human.